The point of writing for a news organization is to reach a wider audience and to get your ideas to people who won't run into them in a journal. Getting it into the right place is not easy. This is my inbox. Every day, I get 50 to 75 pitches to the generic opinion@ft.com email boxes, plus I get another 25 or 30 probably to my personal email box from people who know me. Cutting through the clutter is pretty simple if you do it right. You have to pick the right topic. So you want to somehow connect your topic to the real world. Why is this important now? Newspapers are about news, so it's connected and seems relevant. The other way to get somebody to read your pitch before they even get to whether you can write and they're interested is why you are the right person to be writing about it. So that pitch, which you really have about 2 or 3 paragraphs, very short, should say, I am the world's expert. Make sure that what you are submitting matches the format of the thing you are submitting to. If you are trying to get in a news organization, a 2,000-word research article that starts abstract is immediately going to get one of those little red no's. Read the format of the piece of the organization before you send the piece. And classic, please don't do this. Obviously, you're going to pitch your article to multiple places. Remember to change the stuff in it. The number of times I have gotten a piece saying, Dear Brooke, we think this piece would be fantastic for The Economist. That suggests that you're too careless, you don't care, so why should we? Opinion is for making an argument. And so be sure that the piece you are envisioning doesn't just say, we did a bunch of research. It has to take the next step. We did a bunch of research, which means something. We need to do this next. We shouldn't do that. Some prediction or recommendation or whatever. Make an argument. When you're writing an op-ed about your research, you actually, although it's, say, 700 words, probably less than 200 or 300 is going to be the actual research. That's forming the background to why you are making recommendations and you are saying things. There is another format that academics, particularly social scientists, often find works, which is some news event is happening. This reminds us of some other thing that I know a lot about. And therefore, and this is the crucial part, it has to have that therefore something. So, for example, what is happening in Nigeria reminds me of the French Revolution, and therefore we should be on the alert for mass guillotining. Why not? It gets attention. Never, ever, ever do anything that can be paraphrased as time will tell. The next thing is, how do you get attention? And how does your piece stand out from the clutter? Remember, in the end, a news organization is about engaging and entertaining readers as well as educating them. How do you write it so that it then gets accepted and published? Then, 4 rules. Think about your readers, write clearly and accessibly, use specific examples, and be pithy and sharp. There is actually a thing on the FT website on how to write for the opinion pages. Who are your readers? Think about the publication you're writing for. Where do they live? If you're going to say, we need to do this, who is we? If they live in Belfast, you can use references to the Titanic. If you live in the UK, maybe not so much. And certainly, if they live in the UK, and if they're global, they probably you have to explain what the heck the Titanic was, because people in Hong Kong may not remember. Be clear on who is it you are writing for, and that should depend on the publication you are writing for. You should probably assume that anybody from anywhere can read this, and it should make sense to them. If you're writing about academic subjects, you should assume more explanation rather than less. The other thing is think about your cultural references. Think about who are your readers, how old are they, what are they likely to remember. All right, when you're writing clearly and accessibly, short, sharp sentences. That means active verbs, limited number of clauses, completely different from academic writing. For every sentence, break it in half. I guarantee virtually every sentence is twice as long as it needs to be. Doesn't mean you don't make those same points, just break them up. And if it's in the passive voice, go through and try and figure out how to make it active. Studies were done. We did a study. And no jargon. Jargon is the end. If I can't figure out what you're saying, my readers won't, and editors, if it's full of jargon, aren't even going to bother to figure out what you were saying. They'll just think, too much work. So colorful phrases are a really good way to spice up your work. So, when you use what you think is a colorful example, Make sure it actually works. And please don't use words that that just don't mean anything to people outside your field. If you're using words like that, you're probably engaging in fuzzy thinking. Use internal quotes sparingly, and it has to be something that your readers need to know. Do not use Latin. Even the one exception possibly is for a species name, unnecessary complexity. Never, ever, ever use a long word where a short word will do. I mean, that's Hemingway. But if you're using a quote, it needs to be snappy. Because the whole point is that people are reading to hear what you say, not what people you talk to say. We pick the pieces because the ideas and the piece is interesting. But we then commission an illustration that works well on Twitter or Facebook. We think about how to write the headline in a way that is interesting for search. So we do absolutely think about whether it will work on social and how it will work on social. We're the FT. We don't want just any readers. We want smart readers, and we want policymaker readers. When we measure success, we look at total clicks, but we also have something called an engagement score, which is what share our subscribers, how far did they read. All this is pretty hard, isn't it? It's not the way you naturally write. You have to think about being entertaining. You have to make arguments. Why do you want to do this? Because newspaper and news website, media websites, are some of the most valuable real estate in the world. A well-written opinion piece can make people change their minds. People read it, and I think it makes a difference. And you can make a difference.